especially a couple guys who that was their last game for you.
Yeah, flying around. And you mentioned 3 guys, and they're all old and experienced, and they know what it takes. Man, we got to find some more guys like those guys to grow into guys like that are relentless in their pursuit, that are guys that we can count on on first down or fourth down. It was fun to watch those guys run around today. Wish there would have been, a few more short yardage situations. Kept them in short situations. But you got to celebrate those guys that have good games. You can't look at the final score and indicate that there wasn't something to take away from it. And those guys stood out, and 2 of those guys are exhausting eligibility, so it was fun to see them. Excited to see them in their careers as well as they did on the red.
And then Zane, obviously, he's going to be gone as well, it sounds like. But what a game that he had. I'm curious for what you saw out of him today. At a spot that was kind of a thin position group today.
Yeah, no, it was very thin. We've been thin at defensive end all year, and then we got thinner as the year went on at safety. Played a lot of inexperienced and or young guys throughout the course of the year due to some injuries that we accrued along the way. And Zane had a good game against Cal Poly and came back 2 weeks later and at home had another good game. And it's fun to see those guys step up and do the things. And the game isn't always perfect. And from the bird's eye perspective, you see tackles, you see interceptions. There's more to the story than that. But to finish your career, and who knows how this is all the next 3 or 4 weeks for every college coach is always whatever you want to call it, interesting is probably the best way to describe it. So being mentally flexible and agile in these moments because it's an emotional state. You go from August 1 until essentially almost December 1. That's a long time. And they've been at it regardless of the end result of the season. It's very tough. And those that haven't been a part of that, it's you put a lot into it, and a lot of that's not just from August on. You put January through July into August to December. So we'll get away for a little bit. We'll see how and when and where the dust settles. But we've got some building blocks to build upon. But some guys that are leaving this program that certainly had a big hand in our successes, not just this year but previous years.
Looking more in just to this game itself a little more. Number 7, the quarterback. You didn't probably, I don't think you had a lot of film on him. What did he show you? Was there anything about him that particularly stood out to you that made him so effective today?
Well, they kind of decided on Angel, in the last couple of weeks that he was going to be their guy that they lean on. Early on in the season, they were kind of going back and forth. And, when you're 15 and 21, no matter what the quarterback is, I don't think we did enough, in the past to be able to do that. But it's not just the drop back pass, it's the run, it's play action. A couple of those balls I think we might have had shots at. They hung up there for a while. We just weren't in great position to be able to knock them down. And after one of them, we got one of them was a fumble in the end zone. So after a big play, we made a big play to kind of negate that momentum that they had. But certainly in situations you'd like to be better and play better. At the end of the day, we didn't get enough stops on defense. We didn't score enough points on offense, and 35-7. A lot of people probably went the other way. Well, our team didn't. We got back to 35-35, and so it's a resilient bunch. It's a tough bunch. We're not where we need to be. We're far away from that. But it starts up front on the offensive line on offense to be able to run the ball. We didn't get untracked until Tuna had his big run, which was really good to see. Longest run I think of his career in a situation, getting us some momentum back in the game to within shouting distance. And on the defensive line, I don't think we made enough stops in situations to be able to keep their offense off the field. And but they were timely in those turnovers. There was 3 turnovers, 1 return for a touchdown, 1 fumble in the end zone to be able to provide a touchback and the ball back for us, and then obviously Zane's in the end zone itself, and turning the ball over on offense kind of negates some of those things to give it's kind of a wash when it's all said and done. And at the end of the day, we didn't play well enough. NAU played well enough. They were ready from the jump. They played really well in that 30 minutes, and we played really poorly in that first 30 minutes. But we righted our wrongs to a 35-35 clip, and couldn't get back on the positive sides of the points. But we battled, but we dug ourselves too big of a hole that we just didn't get out
of. How much did you miss Justice? I know you guys have talked earlier about how he's a change of pace from Tuna. Was that a significant factor in this game?
I don't. I mean, I don't think. I mean, the hot hand is nice to be able to kind of lean on and say there was no hot hand early. There's no hand early. Seemed like everything was 1 and over, or 2 and over, 3 and over, or TFL and over. We just there were some things we'll look at film to see what they took away, but it just didn't feel like we could mix it up as well as we would have liked with or without Justice. So I don't know that one individual truly gets that untracked as much. But we got a little momentum late in that game, but the first half it just felt like it was 2nd and 8+ the entire way. It's tough to win anywhere, let alone the last game of the year on Senior Day and or at home. And we did a good job kind of rebounding enough, but just couldn't get over the hump.
I think I counted 8 guys who were listed as seniors, but still have eligibility left, and they didn't walk today. And I know that maybe decisions could still be made, but what does that say to you about what guys think about this team heading into next year, that guys want to stick around that maybe didn't need to?
Yeah, I think that's for every coach to kind of talk about. Everybody kind of has their own path, whether it's guys that intend to come back and don't come back, or guys that intend to make decisions later on. I think getting away from that a little bit and re-looking at things, making emotional decisions isn't in any situation the best way to go about it. But it is a different world this day and age until the COVID 6th really gets we get past that moment, because you never know. We talk many times throughout the year, what are your intentions, and that could change from February of this next February to April to July. Then we leave it alone. Talking bye week, it just changes. Physically, people feel different. The off season is different. There's a lot these guys put into things, and in the moment, everybody wants to play football as long as they can. But when it comes down to it, they know what it takes to get themselves ready for a season. Not many people do if you haven't played. So some of those decisions are awesome to see those guys come back, but there'll be some guys that maybe didn't walk today that don't come back for whatever reason. So we'll collect ourselves the next couple of weeks. We'll talk to the team, and as we hit January, once we get January, we'll have a pretty good, not the perfect, but a pretty good idea, like most clubs, to know who they're going forward with collectively.
Another last question. Just, do you take some time off here for Thanksgiving, or you got to keep recruiting right now?
That's probably the worst thing about coach college football, to be honest with you. I can't speak for other coaching or coaching other sports in collegiate athletics. There's not a ton of time off. Just like the players, there, as much as summer is summer, a lot of people say, how was your summer to players and coaches? There's really no summer. You call it summer, it's the time of year, but you're at camps, you're hosting camps, you're evaluating guys, you have official visits, you have unofficial visits. I mean, it is intense. It's not for the weak. College football is not for the weak, and coaching college football is not for the weak. And so those are things I really try to press upon, not only the parents, the families, the fans, the people around it. It's not 9 to 5. That's not in the job description. We'll take some time away, but most people get some time away. We choose this profession. That's the other thing. We choose not to have weekends off for about 45 of the 52 weeks of the year. We choose that. I get all that. I understand all that. But when we do unplug, it's nice to be able to unplug and not have something, someone's problem doesn't become your emergency. But that's what we signed up for. So we will step around, maybe not away, for a little bit. Like to enjoy family. I like the kids to enjoy their families. And it just so happens that this next week is a player's week off, and they'll be able to reconnect with those that they haven't been around a ton. But you take too much time off and everybody else starts working while you're taking time off, that becomes an issue too, because those things, you stack those things, and before you know it, you're 3 weeks behind where you need to be.
Coach, along those lines, Efton talked about he wants to get back at it Monday. Start working. I think your club has a lot of guys like that, especially among leaders that work really hard. And you talked a lot about last offseason, and they want to get after it this offseason. As a coach, how do you balance stoking that fire and making sure that they maintain it with also kind of forcing them to take a minute to rest your body and rest your mind?
Yeah, I think balance is probably a word that shouldn't be defined, because it's defined differently by everybody. I think there's times where you have to step away and get away, but some guys are motivated by getting back at it. It's a delicate balance when you're talking about different players, because one may think I need 3 weeks off, and one might say I need 3 seconds off. That's kind of the challenges of a team. Challenges of a coaching staff, where this is what I think we should call on third down, and this is what I think we should call on third down. And ideally, we all maybe don't agree with the decision made, but we all support the decision made. And there's a big difference in supporting and agreeing. You can totally support someone 100%, but totally disagree with them 100%. And so, that's something that is a delicate way to handle it, because some will want more, some will want less. Just like our kids at home. You think this is a nice, this is enough blankets. Well, someone needs more blankets, and this is enough cereal, and that's. I mean, at the end of the day, you're not going to make everyone happy. So some of that work is done in the dark by those guys, outside of the required work that we do. But it's college athletics is tough, and I have a lot of respect for our guys in any college football setting, because it's a physically demanding sport, but it's also a mentally draining sport, and it's a long time from August until November. That's kind of the beauty and the beast of a football season, where everybody wants to play the best they can play week in and week out. The demands of this game and of this sport, and really of this world, they're within sport. It's tough, and it challenges you daily. So getting away from that, I think, is appropriate. But sometimes Efton doesn't listen as well as others, and so. But I trust him more than most, because he knows him better than I know him. So, we'll like I said, step around, maybe not step away. We'll have conversations. That's the first thing. We need to meet with all the coaches individually and all the players individually, because I'm a firm believer in exit interviews, wrapping up a 4.5 month season to get some evals and recaps. But to your point, Dan, or to your question, Dan, all this is wrapped up, and now all of a sudden you got a week or week and a half to recap it, and then another 11 months to go forward. So you'd love to press pause, but that's not possible. But you want to relish in the moment and spend time with your guys and your family to get back at it. But we're not going to win any games tomorrow. So we got to find what plan that is to win games come August, and that's probably answered different by different coaches. Got to know your players, and we'll find out who we're going to be able to play with and lace it up with in January, and then possibly in April, May, when the second round of portal hits. So we've got to get better. We've got to get better. We need more mentality, and we got to get bigger. So not only better, but bigger makes us better, and that's going to be a very, very big push, a very high standard this offseason, because we got pushed around too much this year. But damn, 6 or 7 one-possession games outside of everything else. It's intense, and that shit's draining too. At the end of the day, you don't get drained when you win by 21 or lose by 21. You get drained because it's your focus is the entire way. That's the way we like it. We just got to find the way to the left side of the column instead of the right side of the column. More points is more appropriate, I guess.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thank you.